Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. Today I'm going to carry out the long-awaited upgrades to this guitar, which, as you may be aware, is the Harley Benton TE90 Cabronita style Telecaster copy. You may recall that this guitar was bought out of the Guitars for Good Causes fund, and since I'm getting new subscribers all the time and I haven't mentioned Guitars for Good Causes in a couple of weeks, I will just tell you what that is. Basically, it's a GoFundMe campaign that I'm running, and you can donate to that GoFundMe page via the link below this video. I then use these donations to buy guitars like this one, which I then review on this channel. The guitars are then sold with proceeds going to Zoe's Place Baby Hospice, which is a charity in Middlesbrough which provides palliative, respite and end-of-life care to children under 5 with terminal illnesses. And that's how this guitar was bought, and when it arrived I absolutely fell head over heels in love with it. So I decided I was going to buy it myself. I did. Here's the receipt, so you can see everything is all legit and above board. The guitar cost about £160 plus change, basically. I can't remember the exact figure, but I just rounded that up, as you can see, to £170 and made that donation to Zoe's Place. So now it's mine to do with as I wish, and I'm going to. Now, despite the fact that I love this guitar, it did have one or two issues when it arrived. First of all, the tuners, they are garbage. Okay, if you buy one of these guitars, budget on a new set of tuners. These are awfully lumpy feeling. You know that kind of thing when you're a little bit flat on one of the strings, so you turn it and you turn it and nothing happens, and you turn it and nothing happens, and then bang, it just kind of jumps and now you've gone sharp. It's very difficult to get the tuning spot on. So I have a new set of tuners, and if you do decide to upgrade the tuners on one of these guitars, don't make the mistake that I almost did and buy a right-handed set of tuners. You, of course, because of the reverse headstock, need a left-handed set of tuners. I almost hit the buy it now button in error like that. These are a set of Vanson 18:1 locking tuners. 18:1 basically is the ratio. You turn this button 18 times to get 1 revolution on the tuning peg. I didn't buy them because they were locking tuners. I was just a little bit limited for choice. Obviously, to match the rest of the hardware, I needed them to be in a chrome finish, and chrome just seems to have sold out everywhere. When I was looking, you could get them finished in black or gold, and I wanted chrome. So left-handed tuners are not as commonplace as the right-handed ones. Chrome was a bit scarce at the time when I ordered these, and yeah, and I've used Vanson tuners before and been happy with them. So that the fact that they're locking tuners really is incidental to me. The other thing that I've got, and this shows how much of a guitar nerd I am, I recognise that this bridge here is a copy of a Goto GTC 101 bridge. Yes, I am that sad. The Goto GTC 101, which I now have one of here, these are made out of chrome plated brass. This one on here is made out of chrome plated melted down Pepsi cans and baked bean tins, the infamous Chinese pot metal that you hear so much about. And just in my experience from putting brass bridge saddles on this telly that you can see behind me, it really did add more depth and a little bit more volume to the tone. Plus, this is just better made than this. This one has a few sort of rough edges and everything, and you know, I just decided that the guitar needed an upgrade. Now, one thing I will mention about the bridge is that if you measure the E to E string spacing on this bridge, it comes out at 54 millimeters, and as you can see in this picture here. Now, finding a replacement through body stringing hardtail bridge with 54mm string spacing was almost an impossible quest. They just don't seem to exist. Everything seems to be 52.5mm string spacing. And after a bit of a conversation with Craig at Axes R Us, I discovered that pretty much 52.5mm is a standard kind of spacing for this style of guitar, and he advised me to measure the string spacing at the ferrules at the back here, which, as you can see in this picture, is 52.5mm, which does explain one little oddity of this guitar. Actually, when you start getting up to this end of the neck up here, it's increasingly easy to drag the strings off especially this top E string here, off the edge of the fretboard, and that is probably due to the fact that the string spacing at the bridge is too wide. Okay, it's only 0.3 of a millimetre on each bridge saddle, so that obviously the holes in the bridge can still see enough of the holes in the body so that it will fit, so that you put a string through the back of the guitar and it will come out the front of the guitar. But I'm hoping with the 52.5mm spacing on this new bridge, that will help to cure that a little bit. The other thing you may have noticed, and you might have spotted this in the Larry Carlton video I did yesterday actually, is that this guitar no longer says Harley Benton on the headstock. I've got some new decals to put on it. Now, I'm not one of these people that likes to plaster a Squier Affinity Strat in Fender custom shop logos and try and fool people. That's not why I'm doing this. Basically, I just didn't like the Harley Benton logo. You can see here the old school logo that was on this guitar. I just think it looks a bit naff, to be honest with you. It's done that thing that many guitar manufacturers do. They think they're stuck for an idea for a logo and they just think, we'll use the same font as Fender, that'll do. And that's obviously what's happened here. I much prefer this logo that Harley Benton have started using, which is just a little bit more edgy and a little bit more of its own identity, and I was hoping this guitar would come with that logo on it, but it didn't. So I've got some decals which just say HB Deluxe. I couldn't get them to say Harley Benton because that was too many characters for the company that were making the decals for me. So HB Deluxe it is. It's not ashamed to be a Harley Benton, and I'm not ashamed to own one. I just like the look of a different logo. So what I'm going to do now is press straight on with doing these modifications, and you're going to see a little photo montage set to some music, basically documenting the process of those upgrades. I'll see you on the other side. Okay chaps, job done. New logo, I don't know if you can see that there, but you saw a close-up of it earlier, and new tuners. Vast improvement on the old ones, both in terms of the smaller buttons. I never really kind of considered this, but the smaller buttons on these tuners just make it feel less cluttered when you're tuning blind, as it were, with the reverse headstock. It took a little bit of getting used to get the strings on with this style of locking tuner, which is the one where you actually screw down from the top. Never used those before, but hey, we got there. As you can see, my tortoise shell fetish did get the better of me. I just think it's a vast improvement on the flat black plain one that was on this guitar originally. And the big story is, of course, the new bridge, a Goto GTC 101, chrome plated brass throughout. And the weird thing about this bridge is that it's is the intonation pattern. Here's a close-up of it. You can see that there. That D string looks really out on a limb, doesn't it? But the intonation set like this on this guitar is perfect, or as perfect as I can get it with a regular guitar tuner, not a strobe thingy. Obviously the governing factor when I mounted this bridge was the string holes in the bottom of the bridge had to line up with the string holes in the guitar, and that meant that the mounting screw holes had to be filled and re-drilled. What I thought was going to be a quick, quite easy, just drop-in replacement turned out to be a little bit more than that, but we got there. So I'm just thinking it was the original bridge, slightly kind of off whack or whatever, I don't know, but no harm, no foul. This bridge here is now on the guitar, and the guitar is intonated perfectly, and I would be lying if I said I could hear that much of a difference in the sound. I think there probably is, but the one thing I didn't do was put a new set of strings on the old bridge and test what they sounded like against the new set of strings on the new bridge. It just seemed a bit of a waste of a set of strings, to be honest with you, so I didn't do that. But the fact is that this is an all-round better part. I could tell when I was adjusting the intonation and the string height that everything just felt much kind of more well made and precise, and yeah. So there you go. This is pretty much my number one guitar nowadays. It has been ever since it arrived. If you are the kind of player like me that is perpetually torn between, 1 week you love your mahogany set neck humbucker style guitar for the warmth and the girth of it, but then you start kind of thinking, oh, I miss the transparency and the snap and the airiness of a Fender style guitar. Then you go and switch to a Fender and you love that for a week or two, and then you start thinking, yeah, but when I start getting up here, the notes start sounding a bit thin and it's not quite as fat as I want it. So you go back to the mahogany humbucker guitar. If that's the kind of thing that bedevils you, and it's kind of done, it has done with me for years, and you start putting humbuckers into strats and getting coil taps on your humbucker guitar and all that sort of stuff to try and find a compromise. If that's you, get a guitar, any guitar with these Filtertron style pickups. They just have the best of both worlds. They've got the warmth and the depth and the general butteriness of a Gibson kind of sound, but you still can get that quacky, snappy, airy, transparent Fender tone. So there you go. That is the Harley Benton upgrade to the TE90 Cabronita Telecaster type thing. I absolutely adore this guitar, and I've just told you why, so there you go. Coming up next, if you're into the tuition videos that I do, I've got Mike Oldfield solo coming up in the next few days, so keep your eyes open for that. And if you would like some tailored one-to-one guitar tuition, then give me a shout via the details at the end of this video. If you live on Teesside in the northeast of England, you can come along for a face-to-face lesson, or wherever you are in the world you can have a lesson via Skype. And whichever way you do it, your first one is free, of course. And with that, I'll bid you all a good day, say thank you so much for watching, thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you all again next time around. Bye for now, folks.